모닝스페셜이 선정한 모닝 헤드라인스.
Clothing and footwear prices in Korea rose more than 6% last month from a year ago, the highest price increase in more than 11 years, as a widespread return to pre-pandemic daily life, including outdoor activities and work commuting, fueled demand for new wardrobes.
지난달 의류와 신발 물가가 1년 전보다 6% 넘게 올라 11년여 만에 가장 높은 상승률을 기록했습니다. 이는 코로나19 거리두기 해제로 나들이와 출근 등 외부 활동이 늘어나면서 그 수요가 확대된 것으로 분석됩니다.
South Korean cybersecurity firm Anlab has confirmed that North Korean hacking organization APT37 is distributing malicious codes known as ROK-RAT through LNK shortcuts.
사이버 보안 업체인 안랩에 따르면 북한 해킹 조직 APT37이 바로가기 파일인 LNK를 통해 록렛이라는 악성 코드를 유포하는 것으로 확인됐습니다.
Latvia's foreign ministry has said a first batch of fertilizer originating from Russia that the Latvian government seized last year due to European Union sanctions is being shipped to Kenya by the United Nations World Food Program.
유럽연합의 경제 제재로 라트비아에 묶였던 러시아산 비료 중 일부가 UN 식량계획 World Food Program에 의해 처음으로 아프리카 케냐로 운송됐다고 라트비아 외교부가 밝혔습니다.
The Biden administration is poised to limit greenhouse gas emissions from almost all coal and gas-fired power plants by having them cut or capture nearly all of their carbon dioxide emissions by 2040, according to the New York Times.
미국 정부가 기존 화력발전소의 온실가스 배출량을 2040년까지 제로에 가깝게 제한하는 방안을 검토 중이라고 뉴욕타임스가 전했습니다.
BTS member Suga has set a record for the biggest first-day sales for a K-pop solo artist with his official solo debut album, D-Day.
그룹 방탄소년단 슈가가 첫 공식 솔로 음반 D-Day로 K-팝 솔로 가수의 첫날 판매량 최고 기록을 경신했습니다. Morning Headline Expressions. Now, Juyeon, if you fuel demand, or something fuels demand, what does that mean?
So if you fuel demand for something, or if something fuels demand, then it means that you're actually triggering or aggravating that demand. So we actually gave you the analogy of pouring gas onto fire.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're actually making that fire even worse or creating bigger fire.
네, fuel이라는 명사가 연료라는 뜻이 있죠. 그래서 fuel이라는 동사는 불에다가 기름을 붓는 것 같은 겁니다. 뭔가를 더 크게 만든다라는 의미가 있어요. 그래서 fuel demand는 수요를 증가시킨다라는 얘기가 되겠고요. 요즘에 이제 다시 pre-pandemic 때와 비슷하게 외출도 많아지고 또 이렇게 출퇴근도 예전과 거의 뭐 동일하게 하고 그러다 보니까 사람들이 뭘 입는지 신는지 이런 데 좀 더 신경을 많이 쓰는 것 같아요. 그러다 보니까 it has fueled demand. 수요가 높아졌고
That's right.
그 수요 때문인지 물가가 또 굉장히 많이 올랐다라고 합니다. 자, 두 번째는요. malicious code입니다.
Yes. So malicious codes or malicious means that you have the intent to do some wrongdoing. So you want to create harm or do harm. And these codes are computer softwares or computer codes that are sent to a recipient with the intent of doing harm.
malicious는 악성이고요. code는 코드죠.
Yes.
네, 그래서 악성 코드, malicious code가 되겠습니다. 그다음에 또 이제 컴퓨터 얘기할 때
Yes.
malware라는 표현도 있는데 이제 악성 소프트웨어가 되겠죠. originating from은요?
If you are originating from, it's where you're coming from, or where you were born from, or where you started from, where you're shipped from. So we had the example of the first batch of fertilizer that was shipped from Russia. In that case, you can say it originated from Russia.
그죠? 원래 어디에서 온 것이다. 그러니까 어디 산이다. 이런 뜻이죠. 여기선 러시아산이라는 뜻으로 originating from Russia라고 했습니다. 근데 우리가 저기 사람 얘기할 때는 보통 그냥 from 어디 아니면 hailing from 어디 이렇게 표현을 하지 I originate from Korea 이렇게는 잘 안 할 것 같아요. 뭐
No.
뭐 다 알아는 듣겠지만
You can use the word form, but you can say originally I'm from Korea.
아 그렇게 표현할 수도
But
있겠네요.
I lived in the United States for my whole life.
Yeah,
You can say that.
그렇죠. 특히 외국에 나가면은 이렇게 뭐 예를 들자면은 우리 부모님은 뭐 어디 출신이신데
Yes.
나는 어디에서 태어났고 또 어디에서 자랐고 이게 다 다를 수 있거든요.
That's right.
그래서 네, 출신 얘기 많이 하죠. 여기서는 사람은 아니고 비료 얘기입니다. The fertilizer originating from Russia. 러시아산 비료. 자, poised to do something.
Yes. You mentioned that if you hear the expression poised to do something, that you hear someone that actually striking a pose, right?
yeah.
So if you're poised to do something, you're actually prepared to do something, or you're actually just about to do something. So if you're poised to do something, you're poised to limit greenhouse gas emissions. You're just about to limit greenhouse gas emissions. The US government is all ready to limit greenhouse gas emissions.
네, be poised to do something. 뭐 할 태세를 갖추다. 뭐뭐를 하려고 한다라는 뜻으로 쓰고요. 자, 마지막으로 the biggest first day sales.
Yes. So first day has a hyphen in between. So it's actually saying that it is actually the day that this has dropped. So on that day, it has created the record or actually broken the record of that first day in terms of sales.
네, sales 앞에 이렇게 first day가 붙음으로 인해서 첫날 판매량이라는 의미가 되겠습니다. first day sales. 이렇게 해서 헤드라인에 나온 표현들 리뷰해봤고요. 모닝 헤드라인 expressions는 오디오 어학당과 유튜브에서 무료로 다시 듣기 하실 수 있습니다. 모닝스페셜이 선정한 모닝 헤드라인스.
The Ministry of Education has announced plans to slash the hiring of new teachers across all elementary, middle, and high schools by 20 to 30% by 2027, amid a steep fall in the school-age population.
학령 인구의 급격한 감소로 2027년까지 초, 중, 고교 신규 교원 선발 규모를 지금보다 20에서 30%가량 줄이겠다고 교육부가 발표했습니다.
A leading global security think tank has found that countries around the world are spending record amounts of money on their militaries amid escalating concerns over security stemming from Russia's war on Ukraine and U.S. efforts to outpace China.
국제 싱크탱크가 발표한 보고서에 따르면 러시아 우크라이나 전쟁과 미국과 중국의 경쟁으로 안보 우려가 고조되고 있는 가운데 지구촌에서 군사 장비나 시설에 들인 자금이 사상 최고치를 기록했습니다.
A full-fledged evacuation of diplomats and citizens from foreign countries has begun in Sudan as violent clashes intensify between two warring Sudanese generals, while Sudanese civilians risk their lives attempting to flee the country on foot.
수단의 쿠데타 정권과 준 군사 조직의 무력 분쟁이 계속되면서 세계 각국이 자국민과 외교관을 대피시키기 시작했습니다. 한편 수단 국민들은 목숨을 걸고 육로를 통해 이웃 국가로 피신하고 있습니다.
Authorities in Thailand, India, and other Asian countries have issued weather alerts as deadly heat waves are causing heat indexes to surpass 50 degrees Celsius, leading to surges in power demand, causing power cuts and shortages for millions of people.
태국, 인도 등 아시아 일부 지역의 체감 온도가 50도를 훌쩍 뛰어넘는 폭염에 시달리고 있습니다. 이에 따라 전력 수요가 급증해 일부 지역에서는 극심한 전력난을 겪고 있습니다.
A fire-breathing animatronic dragon at Disneyland California's popular Fantasmic show burst into flames over the weekend, causing spectators to evacuate.
지난 주말 미국 캘리포니아 디즈니랜드에서 판타스믹 공연 중 불을 뿜는 용이 진짜 불길에 휩싸여 관람객과 근무자들이 대피하는 소동이 벌어졌습니다. And those were our headlines.
Morning Headline Expressions.
Now to slash something, Ray, means to
cut it, to decrease it. So you might want to slash spending for a month. You know, if you're trying to save money for something. Okay, I'm gonna slash my spending this month so I can save up for my trip or something, for example.
그리고 이 단어에서도 느껴지시나요? 그냥 reduce 하는 것보다 slash가 뭔가 좀 과격한 느낌이 있잖아요. 그래서 대폭 줄인다라는 느낌으로 보시면 되겠습니다. 이번 달에 지출을 좀 내가 대폭 줄여야겠어. I'll have to slash my spending this month. 이렇게 얘기할 수 있고요. slash hiring이라고 하면은 채용을 줄인다라는 의미가 되겠죠. The next expression is to outpace something or someone.
Right. So that means pace, you can always think, okay, it's something to do with speed.
Yeah.
Right? So in this case, outpace means to progress faster or even progress better, make better progress than someone else, faster and better. So talking about the U.S. and you know, obviously the U.S. when they're trying to outpace China means to improve militarily and economically faster and better than China.
군사적으로나 경제적으로나 중국을 앞서려고 하는 미국의 여러 가지 노력으로 인해서 전 세계에서는 이 긴장감이 맴돌고 있다. 이런 내용이었어요. To outpace, 앞서가다. A full-fledged evacuation.
Well, anything that's full-fledged means total or complete. So a full-fledged evacuation means a total evacuation. They are trying to get everybody out of that country.
네. 완전히 뭐뭐뭐 한다라는 의미가 있기 때문에 full-fledged evacuation은 다 대피시키려고자 한다. 그런 노력으로 볼 수 있겠고요. full-fledged war라고 하면은 전면전이 되겠죠. The next expression is heat index.
Heat index. So that's when it considers how the temperature feels, not just what the reading would be.
Yeah.
Like we said, was reading the
42.
thing. Is 42, it felt like
Yeah.
in Thailand. That's what it would say.
Yeah.
That's what the weather report would be. But if you include the humidity, it felt like 54. Quite a jump, right? It feels like a
big jump.
12 degree difference, right?
Exactly. heat index가 바로 체감 온도가 되겠고요. 구체적으로는 덥게 느껴지는 체감 온도를 말합니다. 자, 마지막으로 fire breathing.
Fire breathing. Something that breathes fire.
And this is not your everyday expression because what animal breathes fire?
Right, just
Except
dragons in
mythical
movies.
dragons.
Right,
Yeah.
so that's where you'd usually see it. Like
Exactly.
a fire-breathing dragon. I think
그래요.
that's the only. Isn't that the only
I think so.
in movies that breathes
그렇죠.
fire?
네, 뭐 불을 뿜는 동물이나 사람이 없으니까 거의 뭐 이런 신화에서 나오는 용이나 쓸 법한 그런 표현이죠. Fire breathing, 불을 내뿜는 이라는 뜻입니다.
I guess you could use it in a figurative way, like, oh, she was so angry, it looked like she was breathing fire, like,
Yeah.
when someone's so angry.
Yes, exactly. Figuratively는 비유적으로는 뭐 사람한테도 쓸 수 있겠네요. Alright, well those were our main expressions. 오늘 헤드라인에서 나온 표현들 리뷰해봤고요. 모닝 헤드라인 expressions는 오디오 어학당과 유튜브에서 무료로 다시 듣기 하실 수 있습니다.
모닝스페셜이 선정한 모닝 헤드라인스.
An earthquake with a magnitude of 3.5 struck off the coast of Gangwon province on Tuesday, adding to more than a dozen tremors hitting the area within the past 3 days.
강원도 동해시 앞바다에서 어제 발생한 규모 3.5의 지진을 포함해 사흘간 17차례 연속으로 지진이 발생했습니다.
The Supreme Court has announced tougher punishments for DUI offenders in school zones, raising the maximum prison sentence to 26 years if found guilty of drunk driving and causing the death of a child.
어린이 보호구역에서 음주운전을 하다가 어린이를 쳐 숨지게 하면 최고 26년의 징역형에 처하기로 대법원이 양형 기준을 심의 의결했습니다.
U.S. President Joe Biden has formally announced his bid for re-election, framing next year's contest as a fight against MAGA extremism and pledging to finish the job.
조 바이든 미국 대통령이 내년 대선에 출마하겠다고 공식적으로 선언했습니다. 공화당의 극단주의에 맞서 싸우고 자신의 임무를 완수하겠다며 재도전을 공식화했습니다.
Climate protesters in Germany have caused widespread traffic disruption in Berlin by gluing themselves to streets all over the German capital.
독일 베를린에서 기후 활동가들이 신체 일부를 도로에 접착하는 형태로 도로 점거 시위를 펼쳐 시내 교통이 마비됐습니다.
Controversy is brewing after Glenique Frank, a biological male identifying as a woman, was allowed to compete in the female category of the London Marathon, just months after Frank competed in the New York Marathon as a man.
생물학적으로 남성이지만 자신의 성 정체성을 여성으로 규정한 한 마라토너가 몇 달 전 뉴욕 마라톤 대회에서는 남자부 경기에 출전했다가 이번엔 영국 런던 마라톤 대회에서 여자부 경기에 출전해 논란이 일고 있습니다.
And those are our headlines. Morning headline expressions.
Tremor,
A tremor.
떨림,
A
지진.
small earthquake.
Yes.
Not a huge earthquake, but a small earthquake.
그렇습니다. 여기서는 이제 트레마라고 하면은 작은 규모의 지진을 말하고요. 사람의 몸에 관해서 트레마가 느껴진다 그러면 떨린다라는 의미인데 물론 좀 의학적인 내용이라 깊이 들어가지는 않겠습니다.
A lot of times after big earthquakes,
Yeah.
they'll be followed by tremors, followed by small earthquakes.
A small earthquake is a tremor. And a DUI offender, what's a DUI?
A DUI, someone driving under the influence, under the influence of alcohol. So somebody, like a drunk driver. So
Yeah.
a DUI offender would mean also, in other words, a drunk driver.
Yes. Drink driver in my case, if you grew up in the UK. DUI는 drinking under the influence의 약자입니다. So technically in the West, this could be alcohol or drugs.
Yep.
But in Korea, we're referring to drunk driving.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, a bid for re-election.
Re-election. So this
sorry,
is a president.
re-election, yes.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think you said that.
Did I?
Yeah, I was just starting with that part. Yeah, so in this case, we're talking about Biden. So he is the president now, and he wants to be re-elected, elected again. So he's now saying that that's what he's going to do, officially announcing his candidacy for it. So a bid for something is an attempt. So he's going to make an attempt to get re-elected.
도전이라고 볼 수 있는데요. re-election이니까 재도전이 되겠죠. 재도전. 아이고, 발음이 꼬이네요. 다시 그 presidential election에 도전을 하겠다라고 바이든 대통령이 발표를 했습니다. The next one is traffic disruption.
If we're talking about traffic, we know we're talking about on the road. Cars on the road. And any disruption is when something stops normal activity from happening. So in this, like a traffic disruption, that could simply be a car accident.
Yeah.
Right? So there's a car accident, a few lanes get closed. That interrupts the flow of traffic, the normal flow of traffic.
교통 혼잡의 의미도 있고요. 뭐 교통 마비라고도 해석할 수 있고요. And in this case, the protesters blocking the streets caused major traffic
Oh, yeah, they
disruption.
glued themselves to the roads,
Yeah.
right? And
So what can the drivers do?
No, I saw pictures of it and video
Yeah.
of it. Yeah, like completely stopped.
그래요. And the next one is controversy or controversy is brewing.
All right. So controversy means when people are arguing about an issue. And when something is brewing, it means it's starting to develop.
Yeah.
You can hear it. You can kind of smell it coming.
That's right. You can almost smell it coming. Yeah, like
exactly.
coffee.
Yeah, exactly. And you can also like storms as well. You know, sometimes you're outside and you can see in the distance dark clouds and the weather starts to get maybe a little bit windy. Oh, a storm is brewing. It's over there. It's coming.
Would
it's
you
on its way.
say that it's used mostly for negative things? Something is brewing.
Yeah, I would say it can be.
Storm.
Unless we're talking about beer or coffee, then it's very
Right.
positive. But yeah, I would say usually it's controversies or storms, right?
비유적으로 썼을 때는 뭔가 부정적인 것이 일고 있다라는 느낌으로 많이 쓴다는 거죠. Controversy is brewing. 자, 이렇게 헤드라인에서 나온 표현들 리뷰해봤고요. 모닝 헤드라인 expressions는 오디오 어학당과 유튜브에서 무료로 다시 듣기 하실 수 있습니다. 모닝스페셜이 선정한 모닝 헤드라인스.
The Korean Council for University Education has announced that 21 universities across the nation will incorporate school bullying records in their regular admission processes for the 2025 academic year.
오는 2025학년도 대입 정시모집 수능 위주 전형에서 국내 21개 대학이 학교폭력 조치 사항을 반영할 것이라고 한국대학교육협의회가 발표했습니다.
The head of Hankuk Steel and Mill Company has been sentenced to 1 year in prison for violating the Serious Disasters Punishment Act, marking the first time since the law took effect last year that a corporate head has been penalized with a prison term for lax industrial safety controls.
한국제강 대표이사가 중대재해처벌법 위반으로 징역 1년을 선고받았습니다. 지난해 이 법이 시행된 이후 허술한 산업안전관리 혐의로 기업 총수에게 실형이 내려진 사례는 이번이 처음입니다.
The death toll from a Christian cult in Kenya that believed they would go to heaven if they starved themselves has risen to 89, following exhumations of mass graves found in a forest.
굶어 죽어야 천국에 갈 수 있다는 믿음을 가진 케냐의 한 사이비 종교 집단의 사망자 수가 숲속 집단 매장지에서 시신이 연이어 발굴되면서 현재 89명까지 늘어났습니다.
iSpace, a Japanese company hoping to carry out a rare private moon landing, has said its attempt failed after losing contact with its lander when it unexpectedly accelerated and probably crashed on the lunar surface.
일본 기업 아이스페이스는 자사가 추진한 세계 최초의 민간 달 착륙 시도가 실패했다고 밝혔습니다. 달 착륙선이 갑작스러운 가속으로 달 표면에 추락한 것으로 추측되면서 그 결과 통신이 끊어진 후 나온 발표입니다.
Italy's tourism ministry has been mocked by critics and on social media after an official video to attract tourists to Italy used footage of people in Slovenia drinking Slovenian wine.
관광객 유치를 목적으로 만든 이탈리아 홍보 영상에 슬로베니아에서 슬로베니아 와인을 마시는 사람들 모습이 담기면서 이탈리아 관광부가 평단과 소셜미디어에서 조롱을 받았습니다. And those are our headlines.
Morning Headline Expressions.
자, 첫 번째 표현은요. 대입 정시 모집 일반 전형, 영어로는 이렇게 말할 수 있습니다. Regular college admission process. And of course, in this case, we're getting a Korean term and translating it into English as opposed to most terms where the English already exists and then we translate it into Korean. But let's have a look at the term regular.
regular just means normal. Nothing, nothing's different. Nothing's been added to it. So
Yeah.
usually you'll have, regular size
Yeah.
of something, right? That's the normal size that you would get as a default. Maybe you size up or whatever.
Or size down.
Or size down, right? But yeah, regular. And regular, I don't know. Regular seems like it's usually in the middle to me.
그래요. regular라는 게 보통이라는 의미도 있어요. 그래서 우리 커피숍 같은 데 가면은 그냥 레귤러 사이즈가 보통 그냥 디폴트로 나오는 사이즈고 이거보다 더 큰 사이즈나 작은 사이즈로 바꿀 수는 있죠. 자, 그런 것처럼 regular is sort of like what most people normally do.
Sometimes you'll talk
It's like,
about just a regular person. I'm just a regular guy.
그냥
That kind of
보통
thing.
사람이야.
Yeah.
Okay, regular. 그런 의미가 있을 수 있고요. The next expression is since the law took effect.
Well, when something takes effect, it's starting to be applied. It can be used now. It's in force.
Take effect. 법이 시행되는 겁니다. 자, 그 다음에는요. cult.
A cult. It's a sort of a religious group that usually has kind of extreme, strange views that most people think are kind of odd.
Yes. 보통 이제 우리가 사이비 종교 집단이라고 하는 걸 영어로는 cult라고 합니다. And you might lose contact with a friend.
Unfortunately, right? You no longer have a way to communicate with them.
그래요.
You don't have their number. You can't locate them online.
연락이 끊어지는 것을요. lose contact라고 할 수 있고요. mock는 뭘까요?
If you mock someone, you make fun of them. You tease them.
Yeah.
You roast them.
Exactly.
Right. Sometimes, you don't like when I mock your accent. Hello, welcome to Morning Special. I've been mocking the British accent since I learned to talk, though, so don't take it too personally.
I don't.
Okay.
mock라는 게 놀리다, 뭐 조롱하다 이런 의미가 있을 수 있습니다. 동사로 썼을 때요.
Lovely.
Thank you for mocking me again. 자, mock. or be mocked by critics. 그러면 평론가들로부터 조롱을 받다가 되겠죠.
Why don't you try mocking a North American accent? Can you try it one time?
I don't know about that.
Oh, well done. You got me. That's mocking a Canadian accent. Very good.
자, 오늘 헤드라인에서 나온 표현들 리뷰해봤습니다. 모닝 헤드라인 expressions는 오디오 어학당과 유튜브에서 무료로 다시 듣기 하실 수 있습니다. 모닝스페셜이 선정한 모닝 헤드라인스.
A new coronavirus variant dubbed Arcturus is spreading rapidly in several countries, including South Korea, where it has infected at least 150 people to date.
새로운 코로나 변이 아크투루스가 우리나라를 포함한 여러 국가에서 빠르게 확산되고 있으며 국내에선 현재까지 최소 150건이 확인됐습니다.
Samsung Electronics chip division, normally its most reliable cash cow, has reported a loss of almost 4.6 trillion won, the worst quarterly profit in 14 years.
삼성전자가 14년 만에 처음으로 반도체 부문에서만 4조 6천억 원에 달하는 적자를 기록했습니다.
The World Health Organization expects there will be many more deaths in Sudan due to outbreaks of disease and a lack of essential services, on top of the number of casualties caused by the ongoing fighting.
세계보건기구 WHO가 군벌 간 무력 분쟁으로 유혈 사태가 빚어지고 있는 수단에서 각종 질병과 식량 부족 등으로 더 많은 사망자가 나올 것으로 예상했습니다.
A Brazilian mayor in his 60s has sparked controversy after marrying a 16-year-old teenager and, in the same week, promoting his mother-in-law to the position of Municipal Secretary of Culture and Tourism.
브라질 아라우카라이시에서 64세 시장이 16살 소녀와 결혼을 한 후 장모를 해당 시의 문화관광부 비서관으로 임명해 논란이 되고 있습니다.
Mary Austin, one of Freddie Mercury's oldest friends, is to auction an intimate collection of 1,500 items belonging to the late Queen star, including some of his handwritten lyrics and riotous stage costumes.
프레디 머큐리의 오랜 친구인 메리 오스틴이 머큐리가 직접 손으로 쓴 가사와 그의 무대 의상을 포함한 유품 1,500점을 경매에 내놓았습니다. Those are our 5 headlines.
Morning headline expressions.
Paul, dubbed
Yes.
Paul 아저씨,
Is that what you're dubbing me?
will explain this expression.
Yes.
Well, I think that's what you dubbed yourself, actually.
I did dub myself that. To dub is to name something or someone. It makes me think of King Arthur when I was a kid reading the tales of King Arthur.
Yeah.
When he would make someone a knight, he would say, I dub thee Sir Lancelot, meaning I name you this. It's like giving someone or something a nickname.
Yeah. 누구를 이렇게 부른다. I dub someone something. 이렇게 말할 수도 있고요. 보통은 이렇게 불린다라고 해서 someone is dubbed something.
네.
사람한테만 쓰는 건 아니고요. 이 경우에는 a new COVID variant that is dubbed Arcturus라고 했죠. Maybe I should dub myself Sue 아줌마. And then
I think you need to you need to be Queen of Morning Special. I'm going to dub you Queen of Morning Special.
Well, I mean, I like your 굉장히 정감 있는 선생님이
네.
그 아저씨 닉네임을 좋아해서.
Okay, well, if
maybe
you want
not,
to be
I don't know.
Suajima, that's or you could be
Or maybe
Sajima.
not. Okay, all right, let's move on. The next expression has an animal in it, a cash cow.
Yes, a cash cow meaning a reliable source of income, something that's going to make you profit on a regular basis, be it daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly. So if you have a steady selling product, or if you have a business out of your businesses that always makes you money, that's your cash cow.
그래요. It's not actually a cow, though.
Well, I mean, it could be a cow if you're in the dairy industry.
True, actually. 그냥 캐시카우라는 건 비유적으로 썼을 때 뭐 효자 상품 같은 겁니다. 고수익을 내는 그런 상품 또는 사업을 말하는데요. It could be anything depending on which industry you're in. The next expression is on top of that.
Yes, meaning add on to it, extra to it. If something is on top of something, we're adding and adding and adding. In this case, it's the terrible tragedy in Sudan
Yeah.
with lives lost on top of each other.
수단에 있는 유혈 사태뿐만 아니라라는 뜻으로 on top of the ongoing fighting and the deaths in Sudan, there are other reasons the WHO is very concerned there may be more casualties. 자, 다음으로 promote someone to a certain position.
Yes, meaning to raise them up, to allow them to go up to the next level. I remember when I first started on Morning Special, I was a Friday morning guest, only for a half hour. And then I got promoted to the full 2 hours on a Sunday.
아하, 그래요. 승진이 됐을 때 be promoted라고 할 수 있고요. 승진하다, 승진시키다는 promote입니다. 자, 마지막으로 riotous.
Yes, it could be a real riot, a riotous crowd, meaning people are fighting and protesting and there are all sorts of problems and troubles. Or it could mean colourful
Yeah.
and varied and wild or even uncontrollable. When I was a student, I went to a few riotous parties, let me tell you.
아, 그래요. 그렇게 파티나 많은 사람들이 모였을 때는 굉장히 시끌벅적하다는 의미가 있을 수 있는데 사람의 의상에 대해서 얘기를 하고 있으니까 이 경우에는 파격적이다라고 볼 수 있겠죠. Alright, well that's it for our morning expressions. 오디오 어학당과 유튜브에서 무료로 다시 듣기 하실 수 있습니다.